બોલો સર, તમને શું તકલીફ થાય છે?
First of all, good morning to everyone. I had a problem at the back. So, 2 months back, I had a physiotherapy. I went on a treatment of physiotherapy for more than 20 days regularly on a basis. I had a exercise, but I had a little relief. But thereafter, still pain persist. Basically, when I sit for a say more than a 50 to 60 minutes, then I get a little bit tidiness in these particularly backsides. And when I get up, I have to get up little bit inclinations. And then in a minute or so, I have to make it this way, and then it's all right.
So, through these 2 3 months of pain, the pain has been every day, or it pain comes and goes?
Almost it's a
Everyday pain.
every day.
Okay. Do you remember when it first
When I,
started, the
Haji sir,
day it started?
Haji sir.
Did it start suddenly one day when you did something, or it came gradually on its own without any
No, it's come gradually.
gradually? You don't remember that you lifted
Yes.
some weight or you drove for a long
It
time?
might be, maybe in that case, might have lifted a little bit.
Okay. But you don't remember a
Yes,
single
no,
event
no,
after
no,
which it
no, no,
started. It was probably gradual.
probably gradually.
Now, you described that the pain remains here. Does it ever travel down the thigh?
Yes, basically when I sit in these positions,
Huh.
so I cannot sit for a more than
Longer
8 to 10 minutes.
So,
Then
where
the pain starts in
in the
this side,
thighs?
thigh.
Okay. So, whichever side you put, both
Yes,
sides it
yes,
goes.
both sides it's.
Does it travel right down till the ankle ever?
Uh, yes, probably little bit.
Little bit. Okay. When that pain travels down the thigh, down till the ankle, do you feel some tingling or numbness?
Yes, I feel awkward. I don't feel comfortable rather.
Okay. The thing you described is when you sit for 50, 60 minutes and when you have to get up, you remain a little bent and then it
Yes,
takes a little while to
yes,
straighten up.
yes.
Right.
Yes,
So, this happens every time you have to sit for long hours. So,
yes.
even after driving a car, when you get out of the car, you get this trouble.
Yes. I had a
Okay.
problem in the driving the
Okay.
cars also.
Okay. Fine. Do you
Even
have.
I even I go to the bed in the nights
Hmm.
when I wake up early in the morning.
Huh.
I had a little bit
So,
problem
getting out of
also.
bed, again, the same thing happens. It takes a little while to straighten
Yes,
up.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any trouble? Do you have any trouble related to diabetes, blood pressure,
Mm,
thyroid?
I had a blood pressure. I'm taking a treatment of blood
Okay.
pressures,
Okay.
but I don't have a diabetes. I don't
Okay.
have any
Fine.
diabetes.
Fine. All right. So we'll examine him, but let's find out what is happening at the history level. You have a person who is 65,
67, 68.
67. So you're looking at a geriatric age group, which is possibility of degeneration 100% being there. You have a person who has a gradual onset backache, who has pain radiating along a limb. His pain gets worse after a single posture for prolonged period of time. So we are looking at a possible mechanical backache. The relevant specificity, which is diagnostic rather than homeopathic characteristic, is when he gets out of bed from sleeping or when he gets up from a seat or gets out of driving posture, he remains bent for some period of time and then it takes a little while to straighten up before he feels better. And he feels better once he extends
Yes,
and then he is able to walk.
yes.
This is classic of what is known as a Mackenzie posterior derangement, Mackenzie type posterior derangement, which is actually describing a disc related pain. What do we mean at a pathoanatomic level? Is degeneration is on in all the segments as we had discussed in the backache of mechanical variety. So these degenerative changes in the disc were triggered to cause a inflammatory zone within the disc, which is an annular tear, a fresh annular tear or a fresh small disc prolapse. When a person sits in flexion, that flexion causes the nucleus to so called be more propensity to remain posteriorly than anteriorly, which means that there is a block towards extension. And that's why they become symptomatic, because that will compromise the nerve. And that is why he describes that when he sits for a longer period, he gets to pain there. So that is descriptive pathoanatomy of that. Then he says that he needs to remain flexed. That is the extension block we are talking about. But once he starts extending, microscopically, that nucleus has done something which then the block is gone, and that is how he becomes asymptomatic for that period of time. But because there is a degenerative disc component which is not going to go away just like that, he keeps on getting his symptoms every day. So from the history, pathoanatomic diagnosis coming to is a spondylotic radiculopathy of a discogenic variety. Now, this is my working diagnosis in the mind. I could still be wrong. It could still turn out to be a facet component. It could still turn out to be a listhesis component. But I am sure that this is mechanical and not inflammatory. Now, try to look for the examination findings where what do we expect? We can expect a paraspinal spasm. We can expect a extension restriction. We can expect restriction on one of the lateral movements. We can expect a stretch sign like an SLR or a L3, a reverse Lassegue positive. And we can expect a neurological deficit. So let's see what we are finding. Make the patient stand with both feet a little apart and parallel, because then, and looking straight, because then your paraspinal muscle spasm will be the real spasm and not the asymmetric wrong positive. False positive will come if the patient keeps his foot one side or is tilted one side and all. This way you are making sure that this is the real muscle that we are looking at. So I am feeling that there is a paraspinal muscle spasm more in the upper and mid lumbar than in the lower lumbar. I am not seeing any deformity. I am not feeling any deformity. I am sorry. So ideal thing would be to disrobe him, but in your regular OPD, it's not going to be possible every time doing that. So you have to develop the tactile sensation of go through the clothes and seeing what is tender and what is deformed. ધીરેથી ફોરવર્ડ બેન્ડ કરો વિધાઉટ બેન્ડિંગ ધ ની. દુખે તો મને કહેજો. પાછા આવો. We've got a good flexion and I didn't see or didn't feel the muscle spasm increasing or worsening or having any disharmony. Backward bend કરો. બસ. કઈ તકલીફ પડી? Right. So relatively flexion extension is good, which means we are not looking at a very major physically structural abnormality, right? We are looking at a functional abnormality which is giving him this periodic restriction in range, which is a good sign, which means we have the possibility of being able to reverse those changes. That is what we talk of. મારી તરફ ફરી જાઓ આખા. બંને પગને થોડા પહોળા રાખો. હવે એક હાથેથી હિપને એક સાઈડ ધક્કો મારો. આવું કરવાથી દુખ્યું? ક્યાં? રાઈટ. હવે બીજી તરફ. ને એમની સર. હવે આમ. હવે રાઈટ. રાઈટ. એટલે આ તરફ જે કર્યું એમાં ખાલી અહીંયા થોડું દુખ્યું. રાઈટ. છોડી દો. સો whenever you are asking for pain, it is not just ask pain. You ask him where. Where is very important. Okay. Ask him where. So he described that on his one lateral glide, he has the left lateral glide gives him right upper gluteal pain. So we are looking at again an asymmetric range of motion restriction or symptom. So fits into the mechanical component. Possible? Right. Then look for Trendelenburg, because a lot of people who have a L5 deficit will have affection of their hip abductors. So Trendelenburg may be positive. And in this age group, if they are hypovitaminosis D for a long time, proximal myopathy can give Trendelenburg positive. So look for it since you are examining in the same area. બંને પગ નજીક લઈ લો. એટલું બધું નહીં, થોડું અલગ. હા, હવે એક પગ ઊંચો કરો. છોડી દો. બીજો છોડી દો. So Trendelenburg is negative. So patient is lying down supine, bend both the knees, raise the pelvis up, leave it, straighten up, straighten both the limbs. By doing this bridging of the spine, two things are achieved. One is, if the pain is too severe and the spasm is too severe, the patient will not be able to do this. So you know the degree of difficulty. And two is, by doing this, you are trying to align the patient's pelvis. So what it does is, if there is a secondary or a primary pelvic malalignment which may be a component to his or her pain, you will be picking it up. So I am looking at the anterior superior iliac spine and I am seeing that the right anterior superior iliac spine is distal to the left. Then you look for the medial malleoli, same thing. So the right medial malleolus and the right anterior superior iliac spine both are distal, which means I am looking at a right downslip, which means I am looking at a pelvic malalignment. Whether it is secondary to the primary degeneration or it is a primary thing, I don't know. But this is a component to his physicals. Then looking for SLR, as I had told last time, SLR degree is not important. If there is pain, it is important, and that pain has to be lumbar for it to be relevant. If it is a calf pain, popliteal pain, hamstring pain, it is not relevant. આ મેં ઉપર કર્યું એમાં દુખ્યું તમને નહીં. Then look for SI joint dysfunction by doing the SI joint stress test. That is this distraction and this compression. Dukhyu. You find that there is no SI joint pain, no lumbar pain in these mobilities, but there was some level of tightness on his figure of 4, which could be pretty okay for these days individuals, because we these days don't require so much of flexibility in our day-to-day life. Then look for neurological deficit. I'm touching you on both sides. Equal to touch? There is no difference in the quality of the two sides. एक साइड नम નથી લાગતું બરાબર. ટેક યોર ટોઝ અપ. હું નીચે કરીશ, કરવા નહીં દેતા. પુશ ધેમ ડાઉન. રાઈટ. આને વાળો, ખેંચો તમારી તરફ. પુલ ઇટ, પુલ ઇટ, સ્ટ્રેટન ઇટ. આને વાળો, પુલ ઇટ, સ્ટ્રેટન ઇટ. lumbar nil neuro, we are not looking at any neurological deficit, which is a good sign. Yes, of course, you have to do the deep tendon reflexes as part of the neurological examination. Turn on your tummy. સાવ પેટ ઉપર સૂઈ જાઓ. Then look for the tenderness. હું અલગ અલગ જગ્યાએ દબાવીશ. If you get pain on pressure, tell me when. આ દુખ્યું? રાઈટ. અહીંયા એટલે અહીંથી શરૂ કર્યું તો અહીંયા સુધી બધે જ દુખ્યું. રાઈટ? So there is a tenderness which is generalized from the lower mid dorsal spine to the LS junction, which could be seen in degenerative phenomenon, which could also be seen in hypovitaminosis D, apart from ankylosing and all. But here we are not looking at ankylosing, right? Then look for SI joint tenderness. આ દબાવ તો દુખે જ. આ દબાવ તો દુખે જ. In lot of degenerative spine, you will get a posterior superior iliac spine tenderness. So don't confuse it with SI joint. Both SI joints will be tender lower down if it is a SI joint pathology. Then look for one more way of knowing SI joint pathology apart from the figure of 4 is a lot of people have stiff figure of 4s and you may not be able to really get a SI joint stress test positive. Is another way. This is the sacrum. On the mid sacrum, put your palm and press downwards forcefully. If the SI joint is, see, the SI joint is placed like this, if you remember. I am talking in the AP plane, not on the coronal plane, on the AP plane. So this is the posterior aspect and this is the elbow is the anterior aspect. So it's placed like this. So if I am pressing posterior to anterior like this, the sacrum will move on the ilium. So if there is a pathology in the SI joint, it will cause pain. And that's what I'm doing here. He doesn't have pain. Got the idea? Then look for femoral stretch. Tilu rakho sir. Pain? Pain? Femoral stretch being negative, so we are ruling out L3 for nerve root compression. SLR was free, so we are ruling out L5S1 root compression. But this is when it is an acute thing. We are looking at 2 months plus. You may not find positive radicular signs. So that does not mean you don't have a radicular component. Got it? હવે તમારા હાથ ઉપર વજન લઈ અને ટ્રાય ટુ ડુ અ પુશ અપ. હાજી સર. હા, અહીંયા જ રહેવા દો. આવું કરવાથી ડુ યુ ગેટ એની પેન? Any discomfort, any trouble? No. So if you see, last component of his extension, he was lifting his pelvis off, which means there's some level of stiffness at his LS junction in extension, which now is relevant from the history that he gave, that when he gets up, he takes a little time to straighten up. So we are looking at that LS junction involvement as a degenerative component. We also found that there was asymmetry in the lateral movement. So now let's try seeing that. હવે છે ને બંને હિપ્સને મારી તરફ ખસેડો. પુશ આખા મારી તરફ આવી જાઓ. હજી રાઈટ. બસ હવે આ અહીંયા જ રહેવા દો. લેટ મી મૂવ ધીસ આઉટવર્ડ્સ. આવું કરવાથી કંઈ તકલીફ પડે જ? આર યુ ગેટિંગ એની પેન એનીવેર? નો. હવે ટેક ધીસ પામ સર હિયર. એક મિનિટ સાહેબ 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 અહીંયા. હવે એક મિનિટ સર, આ પાર્ટ ને રાઈટ સાઈડ જવા દો. આ બધું અહીંયા જેમ છે એમ જ રહેવા દો. ટેક ધીસ રાઈટ ટુવર્ડ્સ યોર રાઈટ. સુપર. નાઉ ટેક ધીસ પામ હિયર and in this teda position try to do a push up. What is happening, sir? Right, chodi do. Now you saw that his neutral extension was very good compared to, I'm done sir, you can sit up. In neutral extension was very good, but when I shifted him left off center and made him do the extension, he had significant restriction. He had mild pain also. So again the mechanical component comes into the picture, that there is an asymmetry in restriction, there is pain in that asymmetry. So we are looking at a degenerative phenomenon with an acute exacerbation having a possible posterolateral compressive phenomenon. Correct? If you see it from the McKenzie perspective, it is a posterolateral derangement or possibly a posterior derangement, the McKenzie types. अपना standard pathology wise, it's a lumbosacral junction degenerative phenomenon, possibly L5S1, maybe L4-5 also, a spondylotic radiculopathy, where if you were to do his MRI, you will find that there will be a disc swelling, there will be a facetal arthropathy, and the lateral root, the lateral recess or the posterior root will be compromised. This is your possible picture that you can expect. So what do? You put him on a physiotherapy program which will reverse these. So put him on an extension program and lateral with posterior, so he will regain what is lost. Once he does that and his symptoms go away, you've done. The degeneration doesn't go away, but the inflammatory component to that degeneration, the exacerbative component to that degeneration is treated. Your job is done. You will need anti-inflammatories and neuromodulators from the modern medicine perspective. From the homeopathic perspective, whatever is the right drug according to his totality should be given. But physiotherapy will be not negotiable. This is his dorsal spine X-ray, which is showing degenerative osteophytes in all segments, anterior as well as dorsal, lateral. And this is his lumbar spine X-ray, which is showing again degenerative changes with osteophytes. Though his osteophytes are max at L2-3, but his L5S1 has a foraminal, L5S1 and L4-5 have foraminal stenosis radiologically. So that fits our clinical diagnosis.
How do you spot?
See this. Here the foramen available is so large, whereas here the foramen is obstructed due to the posterior discal osteophyte and the facetal osteophyte, which you can see here, the facetal osteoarthropathy, facetal OA. Yeah, that is part of degeneration. So you're asking, is this dish? No, this is not dish. Dish will have large hyperostosis.